On today's episode of the Real Recovery Podcast, episode number 87, we welcome Max K., whose story is a raw and powerful look at the realities of addiction and the courage it takes to change. From early struggles and repeated relapses to finding a new way of living through community, structure, and self-honesty, Max shares the pivotal moments that shaped his recovery journey. Join Julie and Peter as they dive into an honest conversation about accountability, redemption, and the daily work of staying free from addiction.
Hey, this is Julie with the Real Recovery Podcast.
And this is Peter, and we need your help.
We really sincerely are looking for help. Peter and I have put a lot of time into this podcast. And when I wasn't working and going through a lot, this podcast really just saved me, keeping my mind busy. But producing it, paying for what we've paid for and the time has really, it's cost a lot of money. And in order to keep going for the next year, we will need some donations.
Yeah.
We've survived off how much, Peter?
It was just under $800, and that pretty much bought t-shirts and cards and for promotions and bracelets for promotions. But as far as our time and the services that we use, because it costs to post the podcast and there's software involved, there's a lot of costs.
Well, and we're on so many platforms as well.
Yeah.
We come to you on YouTube, Apple, Spotify, and all that is a publication cost as well.
Yeah. And so it comes to just over $1,000 per episode of combined time and services. And we do it because we love what we do and we love getting the message out. And we've heard feedback from you all who listen that how much you appreciate and love the show. And so we're just asking if you can make a donation. We have donation links everywhere on our website. You can go to donate.realrecoverypodcast.com. Even just $5, that's a cup of coffee at a Starbucks. In fact, it's cheaper than a cup of coffee at Starbucks. And a monthly
$5 a month would be what, $60 a year?
Yeah, it doesn't take much, but it all adds up, and it would really give us a leg up on being able to continue putting out a weekly show for the future.
Yeah, and we have over 10,000 listeners. We're 32nd in Australia. I say that all the time because it overwhelms my brain that we're even international and that anybody can listen to us at any time for free. So if you could donate, we would really appreciate it. Put us on your giving list for Christmas.
Yeah, the holidays are coming, so it's giving season.
Yeah, we really do need that to be able to continue in 2026.
Definitely.
So we hope to hear from you.
Yeah.
Buy us a cup of coffee.
Please. All right. And thanks for listening. And now on to our episode.
Thanks again.
Hello, and welcome to the Real Recovery Podcast. I'm Julie, your co-host. On this journey of healing and transformation, together with my co-host Peter, we dive into the heart of recovery, sharing stories that resonate with courage and inspiration.
That's right, Julie. Each episode is a new chapter in this vast narrative of recovery, and we're honored to bring them to you. But keep in mind, the perspectives you'll hear are for informational purposes only and may not reflect the views of the podcast or our partners.
Indeed, while these conversations can be a powerful part of your recovery toolkit, they are not substitute for professional medical advice. We encourage you to seek guidance from your healthcare provider for any treatment-related decisions.
And if you're facing an immediate crisis, or if you just need to talk to someone who understands, don't hesitate to call the Recovery Crisis Line at 503-223-8569. That number is also on our website. Help is available 24/7.
Now let's begin our episode
of Recovery, Real Recovery.
Hi, this is Julie from the Real Recovery Podcast.
And this is Peter. Welcome, everyone.
And I'm so excited. Our friend Max is here, recently known in What a Small World, huh? Don't get nervous. You can say anything on here. There's no wrong or right, honestly, just that your story is authentic, which we already know it is, and what a lot of people in common.
Yeah.
Yeah, shout out to my security guard. I'll keep his anonymity. But I love him so much. Anyway, so we met at the 5K run for GTD.
GTD 5K. Woo.
Talk about small circles. I was Izzy's sponsor from GTD.
Really?
Yes, I was. I bought him his first GTD shirt.
That's so awesome.
It's crazy, right? And seeing Lance did the whole run, the whole entire run. I was so proud of him.
Oh, he's a runner.
I didn't know that until that day. He was like running. Yeah. I thought it was very cool. Mm-hmm. So I guess let's start at the beginning and get to how you know all the same people I know, which is crazy that we were at the same meeting 2 weeks ago and I didn't know. Just crazy.
Yeah.
Isn't that coincidence or what?
It's a small recovery world. So the beginning.
How did you grow up, maybe? How'd you get into?
I grew up in Clackamas County.
Oh, wow.
I was raised by addicts. My mom, she was on her second divorce by the time I was 5.5, which doesn't make me an addict. But we moved around a decent amount, and moving when I was a kid didn't come with U-Haul trucks and moving boxes. Moving when I was a kid usually came with paper on the front door and garbage bags instead of suitcases, right?
Yeah.
And that doesn't make me an addict either, but it certainly led me to an early stage of being restless, irritable, and discontent with things. I didn't know where I fit in. I didn't dress like other kids. I didn't live in places that other kids lived. My mom didn't drive the same car that other kids' parents drove. And so I just remember having this feeling of otherness from a very early age.
Never comfortable, huh?
No.
Yeah.
And it was early teens. I fell in with the skaters and the
cool people,
the first partiers.
Yeah.
Right? And,
that's where I gravitated to. We called them the Gravelot kids. I was a Gravelot kid because that's where we hung out and smoked.
I was a jock. Sorry.
Yeah. No. And I remember I had already told them, I wanted to fit in somewhere really badly, but I was afraid of alcohol and drugs because I knew my parents were addicted to alcohol and drugs. I didn't know which drugs or anything like that. I just knew that they didn't have shit going on.
Same. I wasn't going to drink because my mom was a drinker and a bartender.
So I had already told this circle of people that I smoked pot because I wanted to be in with them. Even though I never had. And so the first night that we're down in dude's basement, and after a long day of skateboarding, somebody scored some pot and they're like, yeah, we're going to get stoned. And I'm just on edge. I have no idea what to do. And I don't want to tell them that I'm full of shit. And so they passed it around. And I remember I gave it a college try, but I certainly didn't get stoned. I had no idea what I was doing. But then afterwards, I remember they all got stoned and all the giggling and things started. And I just knew, okay, I'm welcome here. Mm-hmm. I'm welcome here. They don't care what my external factors look like. I just felt part of, and I knew I wanted to be like that, be with them, run with them. And so, yeah, started drinking and smoking pot after that.
Wow. When pot was illegal and you had to score it, now you can score it. There's more dispensaries than Starbucks and McDonald's, right. Portland. It's crazy. That got you in the cool club.
Yeah. That got the wheels turning, and then just continued to drink and experiment a little bit with cocaine in high school. But
wow,
it was expensive, and that was really the cool kid drug. When I was a senior in high school, that was the cool kid drug. And
it is expensive. Yeah. Like you have to keep getting high all the time to stay high. I didn't like cocaine. It made me jittery.
Yeah, I tried it, did not like it at all. So it never became an issue for me.
And mathematically, meth just made more sense to me. You get high once, you're high for a long time. It's cheaper. And again, this is before fentanyl. And like, I could be high for 2 days on some good shit. And I wasn't jittery. Crazy.
No, I agree. And see, by that time, I had come to understand that my mom was a meth addict, and my mom had since kind of disappeared from our lives.
Wow.
And then she went and got sober. I love my mom. We have a great relationship today. She's got 20 years clean off of meth.
Oh, that's awesome.
But at that time, it was very confusing. And I just remember I fucking hated meth because I saw what it did to our life. Yeah. And so for me, I was never going to do meth. And it wasn't really by then I learned how to get in where I fit in. I played sports and I snowboarded and skateboarded and stuff. Meth just wasn't the cool thing. I'm sure if I still needed to fit in somewhere and that was the avenue, my addiction will take me wherever it wants to take me.
Exactly.
Yeah. I never even heard of meth when I was in high school at all. Yeah.
Yeah.
Not whatsoever.
Yeah. I didn't know who I was even in all that. I didn't graduate high school, obviously, because I was way more focused on being under the influence of something, and didn't go to college. You could even fast forward a bunch of years. I'm still swinging it air in life. I'm in sales. I was a door-to-door vacuum salesman.
Oh, for what's it called?
Kirby.
Yeah, Kirby.
Yep.
The best vacuum in the world.
The best, yeah.
Yeah.
And that job, in a way, it exemplifies my condition because you make a sale and then the next morning's the sales meeting and it's all raw and they put you up on the stage and they say, how'd you get in the house? What impressed the most? How'd you close the sale? And so again, I get this overwhelming feeling of part of and belonging. Mm-hmm. So I actually learned how to sell a Kirby pretty decently and sold quite a few of them for a lot of years.
Wow. I know another guy too. He worked for me at Sprint and then he went into Kirby sales and he was good on the phone. So I figured he was probably good at the.
Right.
Yeah, absolutely.
If you can get them off, there's money in it. If you can do it, sell a couple a week. Yeah, you can make some okay money. But it was there in California, engaged to a woman who I was not in love with. She got pregnant. The pressure started to settle in and living on 100% commission can be a lot.
Yeah.
And the fun effect that I would get from selling a Kirby kind of started to go away. And I remember feeling very alone, very isolated in my life. I knew a lot of people, but just as it's all transactionary. And all I'm really doing now is drinking whenever I can and smoking pot whenever it's not going to mess with my sale. And I remember I'm sitting in South Sacramento and my assistant manager, by this time I'm running a crew of 6 salesmen and I've got 2 girls that knock on doors. And I have a guy who drives for me and does paperwork. So I can run into the house while the salesman is in the house and I can close the deal, agree to everything, send my assistant manager and he'll write it up. I can go to the next house and just continue on. So I was into what's called volume sales by then. So we were trying to sell 4 to 6 to 8 a day. And I just had a bunch of little minions that would go out and pull the dirt and ask the right questions. And then I'd come and ask for the money. And I remember I'm working 90 hours. I'm just beaten down. I'm pressured. I'm attached to this woman who, God bless her, we just had nothing in common in this world except a child we didn't mean to make. And I said, man, I'm tired. And he goes, I got some Chris. And I go, Ulysses, what the fuck did you say to me? And he goes, what? And I go, will I get addicted if I try it one time? He goes, what do you think? And I says, will it wake me up? What do you think? Do you have some on you right now? What do you think? And that was it.
There it is. Off to the races.
Off to the races. Yeah.
Can I tell you, it was that innocent for me too. Like, it's crazy. Like, I'm snorting it for a month and the next month I'm shooting up, which is just insane to me for a kid that didn't do drugs.
Right.
Yeah. Like, I was so dumb, really, and naive. It's just like the escort service. I really thought you were going to take me to the ballet and out to dinner. I had no clue what the escort service was. I'm talking about dumb. Yeah. And I think a lot of people are that. Does that make sense? They just get hanging with somebody or in the environment of the city nightclub not knowing. And you go in, there's the people that of course know, and that's the atmosphere they're in. And then I think you think it's going to be okay. And I too was never going to drink. And I still haven't really been a big drinker, but my mom drank.
The desire to fit in was so strong, it outweighed any negatives of doing whatever.
Absolutely.
So, yeah.
Yeah, that was my crew too, for real.
Yeah. No, that was the other thing is he smoked it and I was too afraid to smoke anything. So I snorted it for 3 days. It was pretty rough on the nose.
It is. Mine started bleeding.
On
That's
the
how.
4th day I smoked it. We took the van that we were driving through the car wash. You ride inside, and we smoked some. And man, I remember how I found what made me whole in terms of it put up this barrier around me. It didn't matter what you said to me. It didn't matter external factors. They just were on the back burner. And what was weird is it took my sales off. So the thing about Kirby, they have posters. Again, it's all accolades. So they have this poster that comes out every week that says the $1,000 a week club. And that posted from all over the US or all over your division. In the first 12 weeks I did meth, I was in the $1,000 a week club 12 weeks straight.
Wow.
Talk about positive reinforcement.
Yeah.
It took me.
A guy that did this show too says his sales were always better when he was high than when he wasn't. I think it's because you're outgoing.
It is. You'd have to be outgoing to even sell a Kirby to a stranger anyway. But
Yeah.
I love that.
It was something about the chemistry of having those people, because you're managing you got 6 salesmen, only 3 of them wanted to sell that day. And so you're managing all these characters, right? And so if you can be this really overarching character over these people, then you can get them to do what you need and get the sales off. And man, we started selling like crazy. And it took me a year to shoot it. Right. It took me a year to come down. I was making $70,000 a year in commissions. So it was like meth was very affordable for me at the beginning.
Yeah.
Meth was always affordable for me.
Yeah.
Yeah. I got arrested with $250,000.
Oh.
Yeah. And unfortunately, I didn't like going in like tweaker houses or hanging out with tweakers because I made a lot of money. The dealer would come and get the hotel room next to me and I'd buy an ounce of meth or whatever. Yeah. And I would wait because again, I was bougie. Even as a meth user, I was bougie and I wanted clean dope, not dirty dope, because dirty dope would break out my face. It was crazy. Yeah. The things that we do are just insane. But I shot up really quick and it was because my nose hurt. My nose started bleeding really quick. And then I tried capsules. And then I got a stomach ache and I would get sick. Nobody smoked it back then. Like when I hear that, I'm like, wow.
Real dope wasn't really the thing to smoke. The biker dope, from what I understand, it wasn't really.
Yeah, it would melt it. It would melt the meth.
To do it. Yeah.
You can't even get those chemicals now. Propanol and shit like that. Yeah. It's crazy.
Yeah. So yeah, that's how I fell into hard drugs. I was 28 years old the day that I did meth for the first time. And yeah, I ran for 8 years straight. And
wow.
It's funny how as you get into these things, the more you start to drink, the more you have to hang out with more alcoholic types. And early in drinking, you're hanging out at happy hours with people that have a couple and get an Uber. But eventually, if my disease is going to progress, then my friends group has to digress.
Exactly.
And I came to understand that.
I love how you said that.
Yeah,
it's true, because I always say now that it is hard for me, and this sounds bad sometimes, to hang around with the newcomer. Like I get overwhelmed. My brain gets overwhelmed. My crew, the average people in my crew are 65 and 70 because I came in when I was 32. And there's such a strong foundation. And I feel like who you hang out with can be everything sometimes.
Yeah.
Yeah, everything.
A really wealthy guy taught me in Kirby. He's actually a distributor in Gresham. Really wealthy guy. He said that your income is always the equivalent of the average of the 5 people you spend the absolute most time with. So if you took, and it doesn't matter, it doesn't matter if it's your grandma, they're this, to that, or if it's your 5 closest friends, or if it's 4 coworkers and your spouse. If you take the 5 people in your life that are in your life the most amount of time and average their income, it will equal your income within.
That's interesting.
Like within $1,000 a year or something like that. Something like really profound. And
I need to up my friends.
No, me too. Bye, Peter. No, just kidding.
All my friends are poor.
No.
And yeah, from being in sales rooms to being living on the streets and only knowing people who steal and pillage to support their addiction, I could say it's felt really, really accurate to me, at least.
I was just thinking, and I'm doing the math, but at Sprint, right? I would say the 5 people I hung around the most equaled what I made. And that's crazy. Yeah. And now I guess I'm on retirement income because I hang out with a bunch of retired guys.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Huh.
Yeah.
There is, I think it was Carnegie who made the statement that if you want to become something, hang around the people that you want to become, because when you surround yourself around people that emulate what you want to be, you just become part of it. It's almost
like
a natural
manifesting
thing.
It. Yeah, it is. Yeah. Totally. I agree. 100%.
Sure. But it works the opposite way too.
Unfortunately. Or maybe fortunately, yeah.
Well, and I think like the podcast, we do so much service work with it. You have to divide that with it. Yeah.
Absolutely. So yeah, I eventually was hanging out outside, couldn't keep a job. I ended up getting locked up in Solano County in 2017.
Where's Solano County?
Fairfield, California.
Okay.
So Vallejo, Fairfield.
Never been there.
Not a great place to be in county jail.
Is there? I was going to say, it's a great place.
That's an excellent point.
The Justice Center is special as fuck. Clackamas sucks, right?
I've heard.
I've even been, because I got picked up with a warrant in the state police office by the state police. And I will tell you that jail's nicer than most, but yeah.
Yeah, I went in there a lot of times over about a year. And finally I didn't get a felony, but they were working a case out because I just had so many like petty thefts, and I finally got a possession, but it wasn't a felony, and just some different little random things. By then, me and my now ex-wife had separated, and I was just leeching off a girl that I knew from Kirby, and she had enough of me as well. And so my mom, who now had lived in Coeur d'Alene, Idaho, her husband at the time was a social worker. And so I remember one day sitting in county jail, just wondering when I was going to get out, and I get a video call, and it's my mom in Idaho and her husband. And they're like, hey, do you want to come back up here and get sober and get your life back together? And I was like, yeah, absolutely. And so I got released.
I love that.
Yeah, I wish I could say that's when I got sober.
No, but I love that they reached out.
Oh, yeah. They bought me a little commissary and told me over for a few more weeks while I was there. And then I got OR'd late 2017, and they had driven down from Idaho to come get me. And yeah, that was my first semi-attempt at sobriety, although I never got sober. I was smoking weed like the day that I left there. And I wasn't under any court orders. My mom's husband at the time, being a social worker, he said, I think you should do some treatment. You should go to an outpatient treatment and get assessed. And I went and got assessed, and I was there 3 days a week. But I never quit smoking pot because I was self-admit. So there was no court order. So they were just like, you're just not going to graduate. And I was very argumentative, and I literally just spun my tires there for about 9 months in this outpatient, and I was doing odd jobs. And
I smoked a lot of weed when I wasn't getting high.
Yeah.
I say it on here often. It probably saved me from using the hard drugs again and got me to a point where I could then get off that.
Yeah.
But hella.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. And the term California sober, it's growing
I've heard
and
that.
It's gaining some traction, whatever. But for me personally, I accidentally got this relationship with the higher power that really cares about me and loves me. And
I accidentally did too.
And I've found through obviously more research that my connection with my higher power isn't quite the same if I'm smoking pot, things like that. So I was in this outpatient, and I started going to the bar. So I was like, I'm never using hard drugs again, but I'm going to experiment. Alcohol was never my thing. Alcohol was never my big issue. So I'm just not going to use meth anymore. And my mom didn't love it, but again, she was just happy I wasn't on meth or in jail. Her husband thought it was a horrible idea, which obviously. And
I love that he cared, though.
oh, yeah.
Like, I love that he had some common sense. Like, even if it didn't work, his intentions were good.
Oh, yeah. He was an LCSW. He knew what he was talking about.
No, I love that, though. It could be, you could have gotten worse people in your life. You know what I'm saying?
Absolutely.
So that is so good. Yeah.
And so I went out drinking. By then I had gotten back into kitchen work, and I'm going out every weekend with the people that I work at Red Robin with and stuff. And after a few weeks, they let me in on a little secret that they like to do cocaine on Saturday nights and stuff. And so again, I started experimenting with a little bit of cocaine, just some controlled cocaine use, only on the weekends. And it was about 3 weeks into that. This was all really quick. So it was like I went from just smoking pot. This is where how my disease works is I went from smoking pot and I'm like, okay, I'm just going to start going to the bars again, sing some karaoke, have a few beers. I've always liked beers. So within a couple,
I've always liked karaoke.
Yeah. So within a couple of weeks, I'm spending my whole check on vodka tonics over the weekend. And then within a few weeks of that, we started getting cocaine. And some of them that I worked in those kitchens with were cool with smoking it. And I smoked coke for 1 week. And that's where the money came in. And then I'm like, I'm already smoking this shit. Why would I not do some meth?
Exactly.
And I was hanging out in dive bars, and it only took me the very next weekend, I found the right person. And you kind of remind me of her, actually. She was really outgoing and really fun, wasn't shy, but something told me, I was like, she's got something else on board, I feel. And yep, she let me get high, and it was off to the races again. And now I was up in North Idaho, where you can get in serious trouble real quickly.
Is it true that's the whitest state?
Yes.
That's what I've heard. I've never been there either. Sorry.
So that whole thing progressed off the rails again. Very codependent, very living with a woman to a woman, good at making them fall in love with me, bad at being the person they thought they fell in love with. And I got arrested on October 11th. Let me rewind a little bit. A girl that I got into fentanyl. I got into heroin because I wanted to be closer to this girl.
And you know what? I don't think there's any drugs that don't have fentanyl now.
Yes.
Absolutely.
But I met this woman, beautiful, amazing. She did meth. She was a successful meth user. She owned a business, and she had it going on.
So was I.
Yeah.
I owned a business too. No.
She owned a barber shop, and she just had her shit together. She had a cool car, and she was very beautiful and very down to earth. And her roommate did a lot of heroin. So I had dabbled with heroin, but I never really wanted to be super addicted to anything. I remember one time I did heroin enough times consecutively that I got sick. And so I was sick for 5 days. And the roommate at the time was like, dude, you're sick. You need to do something. And I'm like, that means I'll still be addicted to it. I'm like, no, I'm not going to do that. So I detoxed myself one time prior to that, but it was only after 5 days of use. So it was like, okay. So I wanted to hang out with this girl. And so I would sell her roommate meth, and then her roommate would share heroin with me. And
what a deal.
Yeah. But it gave me a reason to be over there with the girl, get close to this girl, right, who ironically hated heroin. She hated that her roommate did heroin. She hated that I would go in the back room and take a couple hits of it. But I guess my personality was enough that she could see past it.
Can I tell you? Me too.
Yeah.
I've never done heroin. I was in jail with the lady in the next cell that was coming off heroin. And this bitch was so sick and screamed all night long that I was emotionally scarred and scared. And oh my God. Yeah.
It's a bad time.
It's a bad
time.
Yeah.
So I remember after 10 days straight of going over here, and I caught myself, my eyes in the mirror. And I was like, you've been doing it for 10 days straight. That's double your record. You're definitely going to be sick now. And then I remember I caught myself in the mirror at a month straight. So I was just doing small amounts every day. I hadn't, the sickness, the wake up, all that stuff hadn't set in yet. But I knew I had been doing it recreationally for quite some time. And so at about a month, I caught myself in the mirror, and just the face, I was just so much more pale and sunken eyes. Yeah. And I'm like,
I seen a lady be green one time, literally green.
Yeah.
At the escort service, and she was begging the escort owner to go on a call to get better. And I was like, let her go. She can go, because I didn't want to be around her. But she was green, like literally green.
Yeah. And so right around that time, about a month, me and this girl that I wanted to get closer to, I've gotten closer to. And so now I'm completely strung out on heroin. And I'm with this woman that I want to be with, who's basically saying, I'm not going to be with you on heroin. Yeah. And my buddy walks in one night, and I'm about 2 days into detoxing because I want to be the man. And he says, I've never not gotten sick off Suboxone. Suboxone made me sick back then. And so his girlfriend is, you can smoke Subutex, the orange ones. You can powder them up and put them on foil and mix with water, just like a Coke hit. And you can smoke Subutex and it'll get you well.
Oh.
And which is why I have dentures today. So I did it. I tried it. I was sicker than a dog. Took a couple hits. Oh my gosh. Yeah. Hit me hard. I was sweating. And I had the evidence to this girl, look, I'm quitting. This is what people do to quit. And so she went along with it.
I have never heard that.
Not a lot.
The shit we've learned, though, I didn't know what monkey snot was until I met Robert Sanders.
I don't know what monkey snot is.
It's heroin and water in like a Visine bottle, and you snort it like...
Oh, hell yeah.
Friend. Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, hell yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, that's the shit.
No, I never heard of it. 'Cause when he said, I got addicted on monkey snot, and I'm like, what the fuck is monkey snot?
Mhm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The shit I learned on this podcast. Yeah.
I remember a buddy of mine named Kirby one time, after I'd started tweaking, he goes, I'm like, we were doing some dope one night after selling, and he just didn't look well. And I'm like, what's wrong with you? And he goes, I'm sick. And I go, here, hit this. And he goes, no, I'm sick off brown. I go, you do heroin? He goes, I clack it. I go, clack it?
Clack it.
What's that? And he pulls out a pill bottle. He goes, you don't care? And I go, no, I don't care. Let's see it. He pulls out a pill bottle. He goes, that, and it clacks. It's got coins in it. They would take a piece of black tar heroin and put it in a pill bottle with cornstarch and smack it around with quarters.
Oh.
And the funny thing is, I only met a few people who clacked. They had the recipe. Yeah, I use 2 quarters and a dime. One guy's, no, I use a quarter, a dime, and a nickel.
Oh my gosh.
And you'd hear that clack,
It's almost like cooking cocaine with baking soda.
Yeah, it would just, so what that cornstarch would do is it just turn it into a snortable powder substance, because by the time they got done clacking it, it was like this light brown.
Clacking, Peter.
Another new one.
Another new
stuff,
one.
yeah.
The definitions we could come up with.
Yeah, and then you would just bump that. And yeah, it was pretty effective.
I've been sober for a long
It was quite
time.
effective.
I am so out of the loop. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm glad, mind you.
I don't feel like it was very economic, because he would go through a lot of heroin in a day doing that with that method, but he didn't like needles and he didn't like smoking. And
I don't like needles either. Yeah.
yeah, the first time once I got addicted to heroin and started smoking heroin, that was just absolutely it for me. That was all this weirdness from my childhood, all this trauma, the things that I went through as a kid, like all of it was backburnered. Heroin. If meth made me feel complete, heroin tucked me in with a warm blanket.
Wow.
Yeah.
What a saying, actually. So tell me how you got to be in recovery.
So on September 15th of 2022, heroin was gone. Fentanyl was the only thing left.
Where's the girl that you got?
Oh, me and her, we burned it to the ground. In fact, we were still in the picture, but life just got so hard, losing places, being homeless, getting a place, losing that, and we just went through the cycles. Still to this day, she's a great friend of mine. She's still out there in the wild. I love her to death. But September 15th, 2022, another close friend of mine, she was one of my fentanyl dealers. She passed away from a fentanyl overdose. And that was super, super sad. I was knocking on her door, pounding on her door. Her dad opened the door. He said, Ray's dead. Just stone cold. He was a meth dealer. He goes, Ray's dead. And I go, what?
Wow.
And I sat down on the couch and smoked a blue in 5 hits in front of him right after his daughter died. And 3 days later, the police in Idaho came and took him to jail for his daughter's death.
Wow.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah. He was as cool as a meth dealer could be, right? He was not a horrible guy. And Idaho's always going to arrest somebody. So I was on a collision course with death for the next few weeks. I assumed if she died, I was a bigger dope fiend than her. I figured I'm smoked. I told my family that my family had no idea what I had going on in life. They probably knew that I was using drugs again, but they didn't know the extent of it. But I ended up telling them I'm addicted to fentanyl. I'm trying to get into treatment, but I don't know what's going to happen. So if they found me with foil in my lab dead one day, they wouldn't be super shocked. And
how horrible.
Yeah, it was weird. And I was sitting in a car one day waiting to get into a treatment center up in North Idaho with that girl that I had gotten close to. And we had been at the casino all night. So it was like 7 a.m. Neither of us had slept. And I'm on my phone and I'm looking there's no inpatients in Idaho. At least at that time, there was like very few. And I'm looking at options and I look at this place that I remember my dad graduated from years before called City Team Portland. And I'm sitting in a Safeway parking lot. I remember it clear as day. I click on the website. And then the first thing is this YouTube video, and it says, meet Lance Orton, executive director.
I've seen the video.
Yeah. Yeah. And so I clicked on that and I watched it and I felt something. I was like, oh, that's hopeful. That guy runs the place and he used to.
Yeah.
And
Crazy Cameron. Look, I'm obsessed with him. Just so you know, he's going to be on our show because I am now obsessed with him after Lance's story. Okay.
So awesome.
Lance said he can hook me up, but I am absolutely going to find him and get him on the show. Lance's share was I was on pins and needles waiting. Like,
if you haven't heard that episode, go back, I don't know, about 5 episodes or so.
It is fucking amazing.
Yeah.
And I've loved Lance since the get-go in a nothing but recovery way. But oh my God, I was like, if I just would have had popcorn, like it was good. It was movie worthy.
Yeah. So I'm watching that little clip. I have no idea what I'm doing in life.
That makes my heart full.
And my dad calls me. Because my dad's calling me every day at the time because he knows.
Your real dad or your stepdad?
My real dad. Because I've disclosed to him that I am addicted to fentanyl. My dad's in the program. So he's calling me every day to make sure I'm alive. And I say, Dad, if this stuff over here in Idaho doesn't work out, there's that place in City Team that you went to a while ago that really seemed to help you. And he goes, yeah, City Team's pretty rough, dude. You might not like that. Now, I didn't live in tents. You know what I'm saying? I had it like Lance says.
I understand.
Yeah.
A shower and a bathroom. I
couch surfed. I was good at couch surf, and I had a lot of acquaintances that I could trade drug. Anyway, my dad goes, City Team's pretty rough, dude. You might not like it. And I go, you don't understand. There's this guy named Lance who runs the place now, and he's a recovered opiate addict. I just watched his video on YouTube, and my dad goes, Lance Orton? And I go, yeah. And he goes, dude, he goes to my home group. I know Lance. We're friends.
That is so crazy.
And I'm like, what? And I was like, so that planted a seed. Now, again, I was still trying to get into.
That's God.
That is God. Well, I was still trying to get into a cush place that the state was going to pay for. That would give me Suboxone. And
you wanted some Serenity Lane shit.
Yes,
exactly.
I wanted an easier, softer way. And frankly, I had no intention of living a sober life. At that time, I just didn't want to die from fentanyl. I assumed I was going to use meth forever, but I wanted off fentanyl.
But do you, just out of curiosity, but do you really think meth is meth now? Seems to me that everyone cuts everything now with fentanyl.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
And my experiences at City Team definitely tell me that these people they're kicking sheets. You know, when me or you would pass out on meth, you find asleep once every 3 days. And you go into that comatose sleep that nobody could change, and you're just out for 16 hours. But through the work I did at City Team, seeing guys on the mats and stuff, when they would finally drag their butts in and try to get some sleep, they weren't sleeping the way that I slept. They weren't in a comatose sleep. They were kicking sheets, shitting their pants. And these are people that aren't opiate users, at least as far as they know. I wholeheartedly agree that everything is walked on nowadays. But so October 11th, 2022, a few weeks after my friend had passed away, a couple of days after me and my dad had that little connection on Lance, I was arrested for felony of possession of a controlled substance and commercial burglary. Mm-hmm. My family was coming to town for my niece's birthday. October 11th is actually my niece's birthday. And I didn't want to look so pathetic. So I went to a Buckle clothing store of all the places to steal some clothes. I was good at stealing, not very good that day. And I ended up getting arrested with a felony and no release date in North Idaho, which, yes, it's the whitest, weirdest, conservative place, especially North Idaho. The prisons are operated by white supremacist type gangs there.
That's what I heard.
I was not cut out for that shit. I'm not built for that shit. And I was very afraid. And they were definitely willing to give me a year over possession. And somebody came into the cell, talked to me. It was like not a probation officer yet, but somebody along those lines. They're like, looks like all your crimes are drug related. Have you ever been sober before? I said, no. They said, would you want to get sober? And I go, absolutely. Would you try it? Yeah. I said, okay, we don't have anything available right now, so you'll need a bed date by this date, or you're just going to be processed and charged and probably go to prison. So get on the phone and find something. And so first thing I do, I call my dad, because they weren't bailing me out. I detoxed cold turkey in that jail cell.
Oh my gosh.
It took me, in Idaho, they don't care. I didn't have enough Suboxone in my blood because I only smoked Subutex. So I didn't have enough active in my bloodstream for them to actually give me Suboxone in jail. So I kicked cold turkey, and it took me 21 days. And it was, I wouldn't wish it on anybody.
Like I said, scared the shit out of me. Like, prison scared me less than this bitch coming off of heroin in the Justice Center. I'm not joking. I just wanted to strangle her from screaming and wrecking my sleep and shit.
Oh, yeah.
But I saw how sick she was and she couldn't eat food. Yeah, it was really horrible. I can't imagine.
Fentanyl and I think all synthetic opiates, they're a real beast. If I could use a gram of heroin a day right now and get fully strung out. And it would be 7 calendar days. I would be sleeping normal again. It took me 21 days not sleeping. I would just wake up and yell, fuck. And yeah, I didn't have many friends in that pod either, because they throw you right in with the assholes after 5 days. So for 5 days, you're sitting in a 23-hour locked little room with a bunch of people that are coming off, detoxing off alcohol and seeing bugs. And then they put me in with the assholes, and I'm in a 50-man bunk pod up in Idaho.
Oh my gosh.
It was no release. You're in that giant pod for 23 hours, and you get maybe 1 hour in a yard a day. But yeah, so I got on the phone with my dad. I said, Dad, I need to get into city team. I need to have a date by this date. And my dad went to Lance. They said, of course, we can do that. And November 19th, 2022, I got released OR'd. I had 24 hours to make
What is OR'd?
Own recognizance.
Oh, wow.
I was released.
I was always released on my own recognizance. Yeah.
They did not. Idaho did not want to release
Let you go
me.
to Portland.
Nope. The prosecutor was like, this is crazy. We have no expectation that he's going to follow through with this. We fully expect him to come back and serve this time. And I just wasn't willing to go to prison. I know a lot of people have had it a lot worse and a lot rougher than me. But after that detox too, because again, the overarching goal, I wanted out from under opiates. Yeah. And that detox was done.
And I understand. I never wanted to go back.
Yeah.
No, seriously. Fear was the motivator. And I went to AA just to get off parole. And I was just going to stay for 6 months and get off parole. And I was scared to leave. Straight up. I'm still scared. I don't worry about using. I believe that's been relieved from me. But I'm almost 29 years sober. And I go to AA all the fucking time. I tell Peter, the most exciting thing for me about working home was making it to a meeting on time. And I don't hang out with anybody that's using or freshly. Yeah, it just doesn't work for me. And I think God has protected me recently. I wanted to go in the recovery field, right? Because I've stayed out of prison 31 years and I've been sober this long and I got my CRM, my PP while I was off work, and I'm going to do this. And no, I don't think I could have worked with newly recovering people. It's just it's physically overwhelming to me. Like I get a stomach ache. And God said, you're going to stay in the corporate world. And he said, you're going to go to the best business that you've ever worked for. Hardest job, but best business I've ever worked for. And I commend you for being in your field. So how was City Team? Did you get your nails done?
City Team ain't no punk, dude. Like day one. So back when I was there, 2022, we slept on the mats.
And you didn't have a brand new building like now?
No, we slept on the mats so it was customary for you to sleep on the mats for the first week with the houseless population, which really humbled you up quick. You do floor crews, so you're up early, and you literally get catapulted into this life of service. And again, I'm there because my dad got me in. Some of the people in my Monday night home group I've known since I was 12 years old because my dad's been in the rooms. And
I fucking love your dad.
It's wild. It took him 30 years to get 4. So he never quit trying. And that's what's really paid off for him in this home stretch. And, but yeah, some really good people that really knew who I was.
It's been the best 4.
Yeah. Yeah. And so there was I felt the expectation. And again, I wasn't there because I wanted to be sober to start with. I was there to get Johnny Law off my back. My first higher power was definitely the prison system. and my God.
So funny you say that, because my first higher power was my parole officer. I figured she controlled my life.
Yeah. And I leaned into the whole service piece. I had done kitchen work, so I got in the kitchen there pretty quickly and just got to work. And I felt like the time went fairly quickly. But in the back of my mind, I always had this plan. I wish I could tell you that October 11, 2022 was my sober date, but I had this plan in the back of my mind because again, that sense of self connected to being a skater and a snowboarder. And I got a skateboard in my car right now, and I still snowboard with the season pass every year. But that connection to pot, I had a plan always. I'm like, I'm going to get my year. I'm going to go back to smoking weed. And I got my year, moved out of, I was at City Team for 9 months, became an intern, helped run Night Strike with Lance. I've been running Night Strike off and on since then. Big part of my life today. But after I got my year, I went and got me a dab pen, and I smoked weed for about 3 weeks. And it just wasn't the same. There's no chemical on this planet that I won't use like a crackhead. So gone are the days of me going and doing fun shit and then relaxing at night with a little smoky smoke. That's no, I carry my dab pen with me in my pocket everywhere I went. I smoked that shit 26 times a day. And it's just dumb. And I lost this connection with this higher power that really has had my best interest in mind since I was creative.
Had your back.
Motherfucker. Surviving overdoses and just not going to prison and all these things. And I couldn't deny.
I'm jealous. No,
yeah, I couldn't deny it. And then I remember the day came where I was sitting, I moved to a Central City Concern building. I'm also
you got to give a UA.
I'm also a CCC poster boy. They weren't UAing in that building at that time. And that's all I'll say about that. I love Central City. But I'm looking at this dab pen and I know that I'm conflicted. I'm ambivalent because I love the rooms of AA and I know how much AA has done for me. And in my mind, I'm like, I couldn't stand to be a liar in the rooms anymore because just a few weeks and I was just like, this sucks. This sucks. I'm talking all this talk and I'm sitting here on my bed, the Ankeny Square Apartments, looking at my dab pen, thinking to myself, then you'll just not go to AA anymore. Not everybody sticks in AA forever. Jelly Roll's California sober. And my brain goes, what the fuck are you thinking? Yeah. Are you going to repeat? Because I've watched so many guys go in and go out. I've watched so many guys not have a chance to come back in. And in my mind, I'm like, dude, I'm actually thinking about quitting AA right now. This is literally how you restart and end up at City Team again or some shit like that. In my mind, I'm like,
if you're lucky.
If I'm lucky. Right. Yeah. And so I remember looking up at the ceiling and I tried to quit a couple of times, but of course you're like, I'll quit when this cartridge is empty. And then the cartridge empties, but then you get paid 2 days later and you're like, I'll just grab a little bit to get me through. Or you find a reason, right?
Yeah, always.
Dude, it's the same. The mental process is the same from 1935 as it is today. That's what's so amazing about our text. And that's why I love NA. I'm going to go to an NA dance thing tomorrow. I don't dislike, I love HA. I can go talk about the depth of my heroin use. But dude, the basic text that was written in 1935, Bill Wilson's 36, his mental process
I could be wrong.
It's the same as mine on any drug.
It is.
It's the same.
They just use crazy words that I've had to look up so many words in the big book.
On barley corn.
Anonymity. I couldn't say fucking anonymity at first.
Everybody's a thug till they got to read the traditions.
Exactly. And honestly, they made me read how it works for the first 30 days. And I would say anonymity or whatever. And then this guy said, it's Anna is her first name and Nimity is her last name. So then I'm like, anonymity. And after a while, anonymity. But it was, and there are big words in the big book, but I have to tell you, so many things are true in the big book. And my favorite page, I know it's cliche that everybody says read 86 through 88, but literally my negative thinking comes in the morning. I don't know why, but if you wake up and you change your attitude for that day and you stay in that fucking day, not worrying about tomorrow, not worrying about the past, because you sure the fuck can't change it. That passageway for me is so true. Just like you'll know a life that you've never known before. I've read page 25 like 5 times since gratitude night. There's even a workbook. Okay. I did not know that Tony V named 4D after page 25.
Fourth dimension. Yeah.
But I didn't know until Elton was talking about it at the banquet. We've been to the banquet a couple of years. And I was like, it's from the big book. And I was like, and I didn't know page 25 by heart. I do now after the last 2 weeks, but it's true. You'll know her life like you've never known before. It is so true.
So true.
So true. So tell us what you're doing today and what you do to stay sober. And I'm glad you're off the weed.
Yep.
Yeah, California fucking sober. I've heard that and I'm like, really? Is it sober?
Yeah.
I've been to an event I won't name the place because they're good friends of ours, but I smelled weed everywhere. Mm-hmm. And I was like, and my friend told me they're California sober. And I'm like, what the fuck happens in California? I didn't know what that meant. And I was like, okay. Yeah.
And again, I'm completely neutral to alcohol. I'm not neutral to fentanyl because it kills my friends. But I think I've reached that point where I'm neutral to it, have been relieved of the obsession and the craving. Thank God. If somebody handed it to me, I would recoil like that from a hot flame. Yeah. Something like that. But what I do today, so I have the same sponsor. I had the same sponsor before the weed. I remember the day I called him, I said, I got to tell you something horrible. And he goes, what? And I go, I've been smoking pot. And he goes, you're just back on step 1, buddy. And so we got back to work.
I love that.
And he's still my sponsor today. Amazing man, a gift from God for me.
Oh, I understand.
Know his family, love them. Just a great thing. I sponsor 3 men. 2 of them have been all the way through the steps. I got one guy who's on step 8 right now. So
good for you.
He's just starting to get some relief.
Some clarity. Mm-hmm.
We got on our knees and did the 7-step prayer the other day, and he has a really strong spiritual life. So I think that's really good for him. So yeah, I don't have, again, a lot of people say my program. I'm not aware of individualized programs. I'm aware of the program of the Big Book Alcoholics Anonymous, or the program. I'm of service. I go to meetings. I don't lie. I don't pick up and use. I have a sponsor who knows he's my sponsor, and I sponsor other men.
I love when people say that. I have a sponsor and they know they're my sponsor.
It's not just by name. He'll call me.
I understand.
If he doesn't hear from me in 2 days, he'll call me. What's up? He calls me Vanilla because he calls me Vanilla because I answer the phone. Yo. So he calls me Vanilla Ice.
Oh my God. And, I thought you were going to say because you're white.
No, but he goes, what's up, Vanilla? How's your brain? If he doesn't hear from me in 2 days, he'll say, what's up, Vanilla? How's your brain? What are you doing?
I talk to my sponsor every morning.
Yeah.
On the way to work.
It's such a beautiful tradition. And again, like as of late, I've become very obsessed with speaker tapes. Oh. YouTube Music has this playlist of like 100 of the best speakers of all time. I'm so obsessed with Bill Wilson's share. There's on the internet machine, there is a recording of Bill Wilson sharing on the day of Dr. Bob's death, and he tells his story like in entirety. It takes about an hour and 20 minutes.
Wow.
And it is amazing. It's literally so amazing. Yeah.
I love that.
I love it. I'm so honored to be a part of AA and to be a fair representation and to try to carry the message.
Do you know what? So I agree with you. I'm going to get a little emotional. I don't know why. That's like the question I'd like to ask, but why have I been so lucky? My daughter's father died of an overdose. He went to VOA, got clean, and got high one time and died. But why do I get to stay sober? And I'm so grateful. I'd like to think it's because I go to meetings, I do the right thing, and it hasn't been easy at times. When you're sober a long time, you go through some shit. Peter just went through cancer in the last 6 months. That's trauma in itself. I went through, I won't even bore you with the details, but like, why do I get to be so lucky? And I'm so grateful because sobriety is different than recovery. And being in recovery, you can handle anything. You can. I can tell you, I have.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like I said before, I use those principles to get me through my cancer and the treatment that I was going through. Thank God I had sobriety, because I pulled all those tools out of that tool belt and used them to get through this.
Yeah.
And without that, I don't know how I would have been able to get through it.
Yeah.
I went to IOP 25 years sober, intensive outpatient for stress management. And then I went back for mental health, and I wouldn't have had enough guts to do that. When the first time I was with a bunch of DUIs that didn't want to be there. And I'm like, every day they're asking you to check in. And I'm like, I went to my meeting today, and it was my foundation. Yeah. And I feel like you, and I just wish, and I know everybody's program's different, and I am neutral on the weed thing too, because I believe it saved my life and got me off the meth. And the doctor told me to keep doing it as long as I didn't use drugs. And then a few months later, no, you got to get off the weed. And I did. But I have to tell you, being a member of Alcoholics Anonymous is the biggest privilege I've ever had, other than being a parent to my child, which I couldn't do if I wasn't sober. The foundation, I always say AA is my foundation.
Yeah.
And the house is built strong.
It becomes a way of life. It's just part of my life now. And that once I was able to be honest, and you talked about that, not lying, that was a hiccup for me because I wasn't comfortable with the meeting I was going to. I didn't feel I could be fully open in myself. And now with the group that I'm with, I can be fully open and honest, be myself. And that just switched everything. And I used to compartmentalize my AA, and then there's the normies and now it's like, I don't give a shit. This is who I am.
It's hard to work, Peter, from running 2 companies and success being so important to me, because I did go to prison and I'm going to be better than you and whatnot. I think it's harder work to play all those roles.
Oh, God. Yeah.
It is such harder work. And I think that the other thing the foundation has given me, and I love the word foundation, but is that I can be whoever I want to be. And it's accepting. There's acceptance. You can be whoever you want to be. And I know our particular meeting, there's no judgment. And now we talk about drugs. When I first got there, I didn't dare say anything about meth because nobody ever talked about drugs. Yeah, It was crazy. But AA was the easier, softer way for me than being in NA, just because of my first experience. Though I think all programs are great, whether it's Sobriety, Circle Recovery, Dharma, whatever works for you. But for me, it is that foundation.
Yeah. Adam T., a speaker, he said that AA is what I do for a living, right? Because I wouldn't have it. He says, oh, you're asking, what do I do for money? That's over there, right? He said, what I do for a living is AA because it's given me so much. What I do for money, that's literally the secondary thing. And he says, anytime that you get those, he said, if I get those things confused, I'm going to drink. And that really resonated with me because.
And being honest, I've gotten those things confused. I also know the difference between sobriety and recovery. And as of the last 4 years, especially, my recovery has bloomed. And I think at first, and there was periods where my recovery was like amazing, but I think at first it was enough for me to be sober, and then to want to stay, right? I'm off parole. I can do whatever the fuck I want, right? And I stayed. I actually took the Friday secretary position. And then I took the fucking cake position and then the pamphlet position. I've done everything except for be the timekeeper. I don't want to cut people off.
No shit.
Yeah, I won't do it. Like they'll say, "Do you have a time?"
It is awkward. I volunteer for it.
I don't do it.
It is an awkward thing.
Can I tell you? It wasn't until COVID, because there were so many people online, that they had a timekeeper. In my first meetings, there was no timekeeper. If you were having a breakdown, we listened. So I just won't do that position. Yeah, it's not my favorite.
Sure. Yeah, I guess I gravitate. So my I kind of have two home groups. I go to Loyola Men's on Monday nights, then I go to SIS Men's on Wednesday nights. And
you don't go to Nova?
Nova?
Just kidding. I was being sarcastic. It's a men's meeting. Oh. It's a gay men's meeting, and it's called No Vagina Allowed.
That's
Nova.
Amazing.
Yes. And I am so upset about that still. I'm going to get NBA, like No Boys Allowed or something.
That is funny. We're definitely Nova at both of my home groups.
There you go. Now I'm going to show up there, and you're not going to, the bucket list now is to go to these meetings. And I know 2/3 of the guys there, and I'm just going to be, look, I needed a meeting tonight.
They might let you in at Knuckleheads.
They will.
I don't know.
One time. I know I can't keep showing up, but I think that one time.
Oh my gosh. I would like, while we're here, I would like to invite you to Loyola's family night. It's the last Sunday it's the only time of the year women are allowed in our meetings.
I want to go.
Yeah, you're there.
Okay.
You're already there. You'll be me and Lance's guest.
I love it.
Yeah.
I'm going to go to Loyola's.
Yeah. So I passed the basket at Loyola. That meeting is so special, and it's not everybody's cup of tea. So a lot of people would consider that meeting a white collar meeting. A lot of people consider that we have tons of tradesmen, so it's not white collar, but a lot of people call that meeting staunch. Also, we just little things like we only clap at birthdays because that clapping time times 12 people could equal another share by the end of the night. So we just clap for birthdays.
Nice.
We don't drink coffee.
I don't drink AA coffee. It's the worst.
Yeah, that aluminum thing. I've had too much at night strike. But there's something about that room. There is no depth to what you couldn't share about. It's an AA meeting. I'll share about fentanyl in a heartbeat. I could share about intravenous meth use. And it's not going to... Because alcohol took me there. Alcohol was never not in the background. If I didn't have dope, don't you think I would have cracked a beer? That's a given.
Honestly... Yeah. I've never done heroin, but I know I'm a heroin addict. Okay. At one point in time, I was a Nike shoe addict, still sometimes on a good day,
it's
right?
Never enough. It's being addicted to never enough. That's
then
right.
There's
never enough.
And
yeah. It's not what things do to us as addicts. My disease, what I've come to understand is it was never really about what drugs or alcohol did to me, but what they did for me. If it was just about what they do to me, the window of enjoyment was too small. Right. If I take a couple hits of heroin, now I'm nodding off. If I go drink, I have a soft stomach. If I go drink, I'm only fun for 2.5 drinks. And after that, I'm either getting sick or I'm blacked out. Or before that, I still have a little social anxiety or whatever. So yeah, the window for enjoyment, if it was just for what it did to me, that's what normies do. Normies go drink because it gets them drunk.
Yeah.
I go drink because it makes me feel like a complete person, or it did.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, it made me feel whole. Those benchmarks in my use, the meth, the heroin, the first time I smoked pot, it's like those were definitive points where because of my trauma or because of what they call causes and conditions, I actually felt part of. And
I understand.
Yeah.
For whatever reason, that was so important to me to feel a part of. That's the reason. I think if you could pinpoint it down, that would be like the crux of the reason.
It gave me so much courage that I didn't have. Like the shit I would do high, I would never do not high. Going on the escort service calls, I never went on a call where I wasn't high. It was hand in hand, 100%. I never even think about it. You know what I'm saying? And it gave me a lot of courage to say fuck you to this and fuck you to that, where I didn't have courage and I did was what was expected of me or pressured on me. Yeah. So anything you'd like to say to Lance, City Team, anybody?
Just a big thank you to all of them. Thank you to Lance. Thank you to Mark and Gamboa, the other guys that run City Team with Lance. Thank you to David, the dude that I graduated with that still works there. He's on staff now. I love them all. They're so important to me.
Part of you.
Yeah, just thank you to everybody who ever came before me. Thank you for the newcomer who comes when he doesn't want to come, because
Stays.
we all learn from each other.
We do. I learn a lot from the newcomer. As I said, I get a little scared sometimes. It's me coiling back from the drug. Our person that you know, Colette, that's on our board, I met her in AA when she was going shopping in a grocery store for the first time, and she was scared to go, so she took us on her phone from our group online. And I think that she opened my heart to a lot of other newcomers, because they're all getting 3 years right now. Like Alan, Marty, Colette, they're all in while I was off work.
Oh, I think I was there for wasn't that Marty's 3-year birthday the other day?
So big Marty or gray-haired Marty?
I don't know.
Older or middle-aged? They're two exactly different opposite looking guys.
It was like 2 Sundays ago. I think he chaired lunch bunch.
Sunday, that would be Marty.
That's my Marty.
Yeah.
I like the other Marty too. Don't get me wrong, but that's my Marty. I met him. I was Zoom hosting and he was the in-person secretary, and I got a connection with him, and we do a lot of things with them now, and it's amazing. And Colette has opened me up to a lot of newcomers in a newcomers meeting at Another Chance. That has been life-changing, that meeting.
Another Chance is a really cool facility.
John was on our podcast.
Okay.
John has the most felonies out of anybody that's been on our podcast. And I love him because he's real. And because the judge said to him, you deserve another chance. That's how Another Chance came about.
Yeah, that's cool.
It is. Cool.
His podcast is amazing.
That's cool.
And that's where Colette went. That's where a lot of people, we've had 5 or 6.
Devlin went.
I know.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I met Devlin in my meeting before Devlin got sobriety. And I will say he's starting to come on into his own. Yeah, you can't know it all though in the first year. And that's what I tell him.
Your story is definitely inspiring, and I'm going to resonate with many people who listen. But we always like to ask if you had some advice for that person that's listening, that it may be in your similar situation, not sure, or they're on the fence of getting help. What would you say to them?
I would say that there are so many people that have come through these rooms for almost 100 years that have sat down and said, I'm different, right? I think that's the thing that keeps us away from sobriety for so long, is that we don't want to be I don't want to be an alcoholic. I don't want to be an addict. I just want to have some minor difference. This is me over here. There's this factor here, and that's why I'm in this room right now. And I listened to a lot of speakers, a lot of tapes. They all say they went and used for another decade or another 5 years, another 4 years, because their story was different. Their circumstances were different. If you ended up in a room of AA, NA, CA, HA, CMA, whatever it is, Gamblers Anonymous, if you ended up in that room, just trust that there's a reason that you ended up there, and that
it wasn't by accident,
and that the people around you are equipped to help you with your suffering. That's the best advice I could give.
That is very well said.
And
I have someone I'm working with right now that I wish would take that advice.
I have to tell you, what you said, are equipped to deal with it, and you never have to be alone again.
Never.
No.
Never.
No.
thank you for spending this rainy, windy, gross Friday night with us.
Yeah, really appreciate you coming over and being so vulnerable and heartfelt.
It was an honor to be here. You guys,
I love it.
Yeah, I've been following you guys on Facebook for not a super long time, but I started following recently, like just before. It's very serendipitous. Then I'm at the 5K and I meet you. And yeah, let's get it on the schedule, of course.
I love it.
Yeah.
We, except for one episode we won't talk about, have only done real stories of recovery. And thank you, because it always makes my recovery better. Every episode, and even the one that wasn't, I learned something. And we are all so very different, but we are all exactly
all
the same.
I was just going to say the same thing. Out of 85 episodes, every single one, the stories, they overlap in different ways, but they're all different, but we're all the same. And I love what you said, that your advice there. Go in the rooms, look for the similarities, don't look for the differences.
Uniqueness is a thinking error. When you think you're different, I thought my story was different too, because I'm in a room with gay men. They weren't an escort. Unique. I'm the special one. Thank you for coming, Max. This is Julie.
This is Peter with the Real Recovery Podcast. Thanks for listening.
That's a wrap on today's episode. Thanks to each and every one of you for lending us your ears and hearts. Your engagement is what fuels our passion and keeps this podcast thriving.
We cherish the moments we share here and hope they resonate with you, whether you're on a daily commute, at the gym, or just taking a moment for yourself.
Make sure to head over to our website at realrecoverypodcast.com. While you're there, subscribe to our newsletter for the latest insights and uplifting stories from our community delivered straight to your inbox.
Click that subscribe button on your favorite podcast player too, so you can keep up with every new episode. It's your support that keeps our conversation alive and meaningful.
And if our stories have touched you, consider using the donate button on our site. Your contributions, no matter the size, are deeply appreciated. They help us continue our mission of sharing hope and healing.
Join us beyond the podcast and follow our journey on social media. Find us on Instagram, Facebook, and on X, formerly known as Twitter. All the links are on our site, so you can stay connected and be a part of the Real Recovery community every day.
Your likes, shares, and comments not only spread the message of recovery, but also remind us that we're all in this together.
So, until we meet again, remember that recovery is a journey, not a destination, and we'll be here to accompany you every step of the way to recovery, real recovery.
Thanks for listening.